I truly believe that every situation we have is an opportunity to learn, and we had an interesting chance today. We took our best agents and brokers of the last quarter to a special breakfast. We do it every quarter, and usually there's a guest speaker. And today was a former basketball player, one of the best basketball players in Israeli history. His name is Doron Jamchi. He used to play for the national team for Maccabi Tel Aviv, which is the #1 team in Israel for many years, and one of the best shooters in the history of Israeli basketball. Now, why am I saying that there's always an opportunity to learn? Because not everyone is a natural speaker. Some people who come to this industry of public speaking without prior knowledge or training, so sometimes they have a natural gift, someone like Magic Johnson, for instance, and some of them just don't have the natural gift, and they don't have, the charisma, the stage presence, they don't have the techniques. But it doesn't really matter, because what I see from audiences is that some people, they're unable to sift through the presentation and find the essence. There's always an essence. It's very interesting to listen to athletes. It's not an accident that so many athletes become either business owners / motivational speakers / business speakers, athletes, coaches, managers, because sports are very similar to business in the way that the mindset is very, very similar. So it's always good to listen to someone who's successful at the highest levels. And for me, again, the lessons are sometimes so simple, but they resonate and they give you something that you can then use with other people that you train and coach and mentor. And just small examples that he gave about the way that he had to struggle to succeed, being cut from a team. And he said, okay, sometimes parents of children would come to him and they would say, or even young players, and they would say, can I be a shooter as good like you? And we already know what is the excuse that is built in, right? We always do that. We say, oh, probably your talent is God-given. And if it's God-given, then it doesn't relate to me. And it doesn't matter what I'm going to do, I'm never going to be like you, so I might as well not even try. That's part of the defense mechanism. It's not really a defense mechanism, it's a distraction mechanism that we use with ourselves in order not to go outside of our comfort zone and try to achieve greatness in any aspect of life. So we find these excuses. Well, this person is my role model. Yes, but this person, everything he has, he got as a natural gift from God. He has a rich family, he had a much better childhood, more resources. All these excuses that all they, summarize into is, I shouldn't even try. But he said a very interesting answer. He said whenever someone came to him and said, can I be a shooter as good as you? He would say, you could, but what are you willing to do? And what are you willing to give up in order to become what you say you want to become? Because talk is easy. Talk is very cheap. I want to be like you. I want to be a great business person. I want to own a business. I want to be a millionaire. And I want to be the next Mark Zuckerberg, the next Gary Vaynerchuk, the next Warren Buffett. Everybody wants to be something. What are you willing to do? And what are you willing to give up? And I think that was the interesting highlight that he said. And for athletes, it's very, very clear. Because he said, I practiced for hours. I gave up going out with friends. I gave up opportunities with girls. I gave up video games. I gave up so many things, and I became one of the best shooters in the history of basketball in Israel. Now, is there a natural talent involved there? Of course. He's also tall. If he wasn't tall, we wouldn't be having this conversation with him. But there are many, many people, and in other aspects of life, there is a much more level playing field. And still, some people apply themselves, some people don't, and then they make excuses about the ones who actually do and succeed. And remember this question, because that's, for me, was the moment of the day. Not only what are you willing to do to get to where you say you want to get, but what are you willing to give up in order to get there? And it just connects immediately to Gary Vaynerchuk, which I already mentioned. And in previous videos, I said that I listen a lot to his videos, and I find him very interesting, very inspirational. I recommend his YouTube channel to anyone who's aspiring in business or just to succeed in life. And he also says that in order to be successful, he basically gave up his 20s. I remember that he had a conversation with an online visitor that they would call into his show from Twitter or wherever, and he asked that person, what did you do last weekend? And she said, well, I went out here and I did that, and he said, well, just in this weekend you took more time off than I did in my entire 20s. Now obviously he's exaggerating, but the point still stands that he was willing to give up things. And he also had another interesting point that he said, why does he fly economy? Which you say, okay, the guy's a millionaire. He owns a multi-million-dollar operation in Viner Media. Why would he fly economy? And he says, because at the end of the day, these things, they add up. Every time I fly first, and if I fly 100 times a year, 150 times a year, at the end of the day, it's a lot of money that I'll be short of in order to achieve my goal. What are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up flying first and taking economy? Or is it humiliating for you? Are you willing to give up your free time, your vacations abroad, your time off with your family, your video games, your leisure time? Are you willing to, how much are you willing to give up in order to get to where you want to get? Do you really want to get where you want to get? Or are you just saying that because it sounds nice over coffee when you're having, drinks with your friends? Or are you passionate about getting where you want to go? Because if you're passionate, you need to make this very clear decision. What am I willing to do? What am I willing to give up in order to get to where I want to get?